An old man and his old wife have been married for 40 years. Every year for their anniversary, the husband takes his wife to the state fair. And every year a strange ritual occurs. Somewhere there is a man, next to an old prop plane, who extends an invitation to them.
Hey buddy, pay attention to that stunner. For just $10, you too can enjoy a nice ride.
The old man asks his wife if she wants to go on the plane and, like every year, she answers.
$10 is $10. We don't have that money.
With nothing better to do, and just to kill the boredom, this year the pilot makes a variation on the conversation.
Today is your lucky day, Pippin. Let me talk to this heartthrob.
The pilot takes the old man aside and tells him.
Hey, Richard Gere, I want you to have a courtesy with the lady. How about this challenge? I'll let you both fly for free with the only condition that you don't scream, talk, or make any noises. If that happens, you give me as little as $10 for both of you. If not, the ride will be totally free.
The old man ponders the matter for a moment, glances at his wife, and responds.
Okay, it's time to take on challenges. My friend, you've got a deal?
Wife and husband hop on the plane. The pilot pushes the old propeller, the plane coughs, and they set off for their long haul. After 5 minutes, the pilot looks surprised.
I've listened carefully and not a peep. If these mummies think they're going to beat me, they'd better put their bandages back on.
The pilot starts to make some twists and steep turns, but there's still not a word.
You don't know who you're with, Methuselah. I'm going to bring out my heavy artillery.
The pilot does a series of sharp flips, sure that this will take their breath away, but all he hears is a few creaks from the plane's old fuselage. He decides to give up and, looking askance at the elderly man, comments.
Yes, you won it for me. I've pulled every trick in the book, but you both seem to have nerves of steel. Didn't you ever feel like screaming?
The old man replies.
Well, you certainly made it difficult for me from the get-go, but I managed to stay calm. I must confess that I was on the verge of losing.
Curious, the pilot inquires.
Let me guess, it was for sure on my second pirouette. Isn't it?
Oh no, not at all. It was when my wife fell off the plane, but I didn't want to say anything, you know.
$10 is $10. With this joke you will die of laughter.
A farmer had a large group of chickens, but he lacked a good rooster, so he travels to town to buy one. Once in town he goes to talk to the clerk.
Good morning. I want to buy a good rooster to mate my chickens. Which one do you recommend?
The clerk searches among his animals and exhibits a young rooster to the farmer.
This is an excellent rooster. He will meet all your expectations.
The farmer takes his rooster and happily goes to his farm. There he places the new rooster in the henhouse.
With this rooster now my chickens will produce.
The rooster enters the chicken coop imposingly, mounts on a hen, and when he goes for the second he falls fainting and dies instantly.
Oh, I see my chickens are quite picky. I must go for a better rooster.
The next day he goes back to town and talks to the clerk.
The rooster you sold me didn't measure up. I need a better one.
The clerk searches among his animals again, and this time he returns with a white rooster more imposing than the previous one.
This rooster is for strong work. Take it easy.
The farmer returns to his farm convinced that this rooster will measure up.
This rooster does look like he will do his job.
The rooster defiantly enters the chicken coop, mounts on a hen, mounts on 2 hens, mounts on 3 hens, and when he goes to the 4th he falls and dies suddenly.
I can't believe it. I did trust this rooster. Tomorrow I'll make sure I buy the right rooster.
Indeed, the next day he returns to town and talks to the clerk again.
This second rooster that you sold me didn't measure up either. I need an exemplar category.
The clerk goes to the basement and this time returns with a superb red rooster.
I assure you this rooster will meet all your expectations. It is the best of the best.
The farmer goes to his farm this time sure he has the appropriate exemplar.
This rooster was what I really needed.
The rooster enters the chicken coop by knocking down the door, mounts on a chicken, mounts on 2 chickens, mounts on 3, 4, 5 chickens. He continues with all the ones in the chicken coop. Since several are running away, he goes out and continues with his work. Since there are no chickens left, now he starts it with turkeys, sheep, pigs and everything that is in his way. Exhilarated, he continues on his way and gets out of sight of the farmer.
By God, I can't let this rooster get lost. He is a real fortune.
The farmer goes out to look for his rooster. He walks through forests and hills following his footprint. Finally he manages to see a group of vultures hovering over a rock and that's where he heads.
Jesus Christ. My rooster. My rooster. His eyes are closed, his wings drooping. I can't let those vultures kill him.
The rooster opens one eye, then sees how the farmer is getting too close and tells him.
Hey buddy, don't ruin my moment. Stay away, you're going to scare the brunettes away.
The best joke of doctors.
A young doctor recently graduated is hired to work in a small town. Super excited for his first job, he travels that night to organize his office and start seeing patients from the very morning.
How extraordinary! My first job! I can't wait for my first patient to arrive.
With all the encouragement, the young doctor prepares everything to be ready for any patient. However, hours pass and no one comes to his surgery.
How weird. They told me that the town was in dire need of a doctor, but no one comes. I'm going to consult with the mayor so that he can give me some information.
The doctor then goes to the mayor's office to try to solve the mystery.
Good morning, doctor. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Mayor. I'm very excited to start as the town doctor, but I'm intrigued that no one has come to my surgery yet, and it's almost noon.
The explanation is very simple, doctor. Today is Saturday, and it is also payday. The men of the town look forward to this day because it is the day to release their tensions. You understand me, don't you?
I see. Yes, of course I understand you.
Let's seize the day, doctor. Let's go to the place where they meet, and I will introduce you.
Mayor and doctor go to the indicated place. There, a long line of men waits behind a door.
Friends, this is the new doctor. Greet him.
The crowd welcomes the doctor effusively. One of the men approaches him.
Doctor, to get you off to a good start in the village, we invite you to be the first to enjoy the service.
The doctor is brought to the very beginning of the line and the door is opened for him to enter. Passing the door, the doctor finds himself in a room where there is only a donkey.
Oh my God. These villagers have very particular customs, but I want to integrate with the locals. If I reject their ways, I will lose them. So I must sacrifice myself and bite the bullet.
The doctor drops his pants and proceeds to be intimate with the donkey. Not knowing how long is appropriate, he continues his work for another while. After a certain time, the villagers knock on the door.
Doctor, have you untied the donkey yet? We need it to cross the bridge and go to where the girls are.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
3 friends die in an accident and go to heaven. There, Saint Peter receives them. He goes on to fill out the forms so they can get into and tells them.
Little children, welcome to heaven. You will enjoy a splendid place, where happiness is permanent and sadness will never accompany you.
St. Peter then proceeds to give them all the necessary implements and to assign them their places of residence and their tasks. Before sending them away, he gives them a warning.
I must inform you of a new rule we have set in heaven. We have noticed that new souls are careless in walking through heaven and often step where they should not. In particular, it is important to avoid black clouds, because if you step on them, you will trigger storms down on earth. Here, in heaven, we are very demanding, so we have imposed a punishment for those who break this rule.
Somewhat worried, the friends ask St. Peter what punishment he mentions.
Pay attention. Every time you step on a black cloud, your punishment will be that you will have to walk with a very, very ugly woman for the next week. Each time you step on new clouds, the punishment time will increase.
Friends listen carefully, and then look at each other with great concern. Charlie, the most nervous of the three, is the one who looks most restless.
Very well, guys, let's go to our respective houses. I wish you a lot of fun, and remember the warning they gave us with the clouds. It would be terrible if something like this happened to us.
Time passes and friends go about their respective activities. One day, Charlie watches how his friend Bobby approaches, holding his hand, a rather ugly woman, full of warts.
Bobby, for God's sake, don't tell me. You stepped on a black cloud.
Yes, buddy. I was running, and I wasn't careful. I wasn't careful.
Charlie, more anxious than before, reflects on it.
St. Peter did not exaggerate when he spoke to us of punishment. In truth, that woman that was handed to my friend Bobby is ugly.
Time passes. Charlie must go shopping. On his way, he spots Matthew, his other friend.
I can't believe my eyes. It's Matthew with an ugly woman. I say ugly, horrifying. Look at that huge hump and those bulging eyes. Even a toad is prettier.
The two friends cross paths.
Matthew, friend. What happened, brother? Look at that horror that was handed to you. That big hump that a camel would envy, and those eyes that do not even fit on her face.
Take it easy, brother. Speak loudly if you want. She is also deaf. You see, the other day I was falling asleep in the park. I fell on a black cloud, and here is the result.
Charlie, now completely beside himself, makes a promise to himself.
I will not allow this to happen to me. From now on, whenever I am near some black cloud, I will immediately move away from it, so I will avoid any accident.
Indeed, time passes and Charlie keeps his promise. However, months later, it is now Bobby and Matthew who see how their friend Charlie approaches them. Hugging him, the gorgeous Taylor Swift.
Wow!
Friends are stunned and can't believe what they see.
Charlie, little friend, did you win the lottery? How did you do it? You stepped on a white cloud, did you?
His other friend questions him, seeking to understand the situation.
I don't think that's it. Rather, you jumped over several clouds? Is that it? Tell us. We also want a woman as beautiful as that.
Charlie, grieving, turns to his friends.
Bobby, Matthew, friends, none of that. I didn't step on any white cloud or jump over several clouds.
It was Taylor who stepped on a black cloud.
Yes, my master.
Alan gets out of his car and quickly enters the building where he works. He's late and the last thing he wants is to run into his boss. Unfortunately, turning the corner and passing through the living room, he encountered him directly.
Great, Chief. How's it going?
Alan's chief has traditionally been very demanding. But since a few months ago, he has entered a new cult and is now quite docile and conciliatory.
Alan, dear friend, how are you? I see that you are a little late for work. I guess you will have some valid excuse.
Alan, seeing that his boss has a receptive attitude, opens up with him.
The truth, Chief, is that since a few days ago I have been quite tired. I can't fall asleep easily, and it's difficult for me to get up early. I wish I could feel as good as you. It's evident that you can tell that you are in excellent condition.
The boss, remembering the prayer received at the service the previous Sunday, where they spoke of generosity towards others, decides to support his employee.
Alan, I like you, and I'm going to share with you a little secret that I have to feel and see myself as you see me now.
Alan, somewhat uneasy about the change in attitude of his boss, but at the same time curious to know what he is going to share, listens attentively.
It's simple, Alan, but at the same time very powerful. Every time I'm very stressed, I immediately stop working and go home. There I meet my wife, have a passionate evening with her, and make love to her like never before. The next day, I feel like new and ready to work.
Shocked by his boss's confession, Alan prepares to answer something, but observes that his boss is going to continue exposing his soul.
What's more, I like you so much, and I think this secret should be known to more people, that I propose this. Take today off, do the same as I do, and you will see how tomorrow you will be a new person.
Alan, moved by his boss's offer, obeys the order, says goodbye to him with a warm hug and proceeds to do what his boss proposed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, harder.
The next day, it's early in the morning and Alan arrives vigorously at his workplace. There, he stops by to greet his boss.
Hi, Alan. I notice you're completely different today. I suppose you followed my instructions to the letter.
That's right, boss, just like you told me. I left the office here, called your wife, met with her, and we had a journey of passion like I've never had before. What you told me is true. Sex with your woman is the best.
The boss can't believe what he's hearing. Enraged, red with anger, he replies.
But are you an idiot, Alan? I told you to do the same as me, but I was talking about your wife at the time.
The boss feels in those moments he wants to beat up his employee, but he remembers the sermon of the cult, where they made it clear that many people were short of understanding and had to be helped more insistently, so he takes a breath, relaxes, and says,
Alan, I'm going to speak to you clearly, and I need you to pay close attention. I'm going to give you a second chance to do things right. Take the day off again today, but this time make sure your wife is going to be present all the time. Did you understand me?
Your wife should be with you all the time.
Alan, without giving credence to what he hears, responds enthusiastically.
Of course I understood you, boss. Everything has already been perfectly clear.
The next day, Alan doesn't show up for work in the morning. After noon he arrives. His boss notices that he can't be happier. He is sure that now everything has been well understood and he goes on to talk to him.
Alan, buddy, from your face I see that now you did things well and that you were with your wife as expected.
Absolutely, boss. I did things just as you told me. I left the office, called my wife, met with her, and from there we went to where your wife. I made love to your wife more intensively than the other day. And, yes, Chiefy.
My wife was with me the whole time.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, harder.
Come on, let's go.
We're only here to protect and serve. We're only here to protect and serve. We're only here to protect and serve. If we suspect you'll interfere, then you'll get what you deserve. We're only here to protect and serve. We're only here to protect and serve. How many necks must we crush till the lessons learned with?
Thank you for not smoking.
There's been a noticeable increase in the rabbit population, and the authorities are concerned about its impact on the economy. At the same time, they want to remain friendly with the new times, so they decide to convoke a group of experts to reduce this population without causing unnecessary pain. In the final round, a scientist, a singer, and a deputy sheriff are selected. The governor explains the rules.
The goal is to find and bring a rabbit in the shortest possible time. We release the rabbit, and each of you should use whatever available technique you want to capture the rabbit, which is a male rabbit, a buck, without harming him.
The first to start, chosen by luck, is the scientist. They release the rabbit, and the scientist comes out after him, carrying a box and several jars. After 2 hours he returns.
Here is the rabbit. My method involved impregnating a dummy female rabbit, with some pheromones to attract the elusive rabbit. After some time, the bug decided to jump on my dummy rabbit. A mechanism opened the box, and the rabbit was trapped in it, without any damage.
The authorities are satisfied with his achievement. Now they summon the singer to do his best. Once again, a new rabbit is released and time begins to run for the singer. Time passes. And, an hour later, he is on the horizon.
Gentlemen, here is your rabbit. It took me longer than I thought, but I finally managed to get it. I employed the concept that rabbits are very perceptive when it comes to their progeny. So I emitted some high-pitched tones with my voice and the rabbit was silly believing it was his kit. Then, he meekly entered this cage and I was able to catch him without employing force or abuse.
Quite worried about the direction that events are taking, the police chief calls his subordinate apart.
Oliver, the honor of the force depends on you at this time. There is no option for failure. You should catch that rabbit in less time than the singer used. Have I been clear about this?
Quite contrite, the walloper goes into the forest. After 20 minutes, the wombat returns, hastily opens the only tool he brought for his work, a sack, and, from there, a hedgehog emerges.
What? Not that hedgehog. This hedgehog.
The hedgehog crawls on the ground, prostrates on his knees, joins hands and raises his gaze to the sky. When the policeman approaches him, he utters these words.
Yes, it's true. I swear, I'm a rabbit. I was born a rabbit and have always been a rabbit. I will be a rabbit all my life, but please, don't smash me anymore.
Doctor, how do you see me?
Now, is that going to be a problem?
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for them. This is a clear violation of your rights as a consumer. It's an infringement on your constitutional rights. It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous.
It's definitely preposterous.
So, then what happened?
Attorney Michael Gove hurries down the street. When he turns a corner, he runs head-on into his friend the doctor.
Dr. Coffin, what a coincidence to meet you.
Attorney, how are you doing? You almost threw me into the other corner. Why are you in such a hurry?
You will see. I am going to the mansion of Lord Naphthalinus to convey important news.
Curiosity is awakened in Dr. Coffin's mind. Lord Naphthalinus is his patient and the lawyer's eagerness strikes him, so, with his look, he makes it clear that he wants to know more about it.
Oh, I understand you. My good doctor, you are wondering why my great interest in meeting Lord Naphtha. I'm not going to leave you with the intrigue.
Dr. Coffin listens carefully.
A distant uncle has just died and expressed in his will a mandatory order to leave an important part of his fortune for his favorite nephew. And, believe it or not, Naphthalinus turned out to be that little nephew.
Dr. Coffin quickly grasps what is happening. He knows Gove's voracious appetite for money quite well and deduces that his great interest is not so much for Naphthalinus as for the commission he will receive. So, before the lawyer leaves, he comments.
My dear Michael, very noble of you to want to bring this good news to Lord Naphthalinus personally, but it is my duty to let you know something. Naphthi has been my patient for a long time and, although his state of health is remarkable, receiving news like this could affect him very negatively. Maybe he could have a heart attack or something like that.
The smile on Gove's face is lost. He is beginning to wonder why he opened his mouth so quickly, but, accustomed to challenges, he interrogates the doctor.
I see. And how do you suggest that I report the news to the old man?
Dr. Coffin ponders about it for a moment. In no time he issues his opinion.
Jagger, the subject goes like this. Early tomorrow Lord Naphthalinus will come to my surgery.
Let me think today the most appropriate way to inform him of this super news.
Shyster and Quack say goodbye. Coffin cancels the rest of his appointments and heads home to meditate on the matter. After a few hours, his Eureka arrives.
I've got it. Coffin Dodgers, Doctor, you are a genius.
The next day, doctor and patient meet in the surgery. After some formalities, Dr. Coffin moves directly to the topic at hand.
Lord Naphthalinus, I have already reviewed the exams I sent you to take. As usual, your health is unbeatable. Let me congratulate you.
Thank you, Doctor. I need to stay that way to fulfill my Peggy.
Lord Naphtha, speaking as well as unintentionally. What if you, for those things in life, received a few million quid, for example, I don't know, from a lottery or something?
Naphthalinus takes his time. Not so much to think about his response as to gain momentum and get up from his chair.
My good doctor, what can I tell you? With the age I have, they already tell me fertilizer, yes. The earth is already asking for me. Some time ago I left a good deposit for my Peggy, for when I am not here. But do you know? You have been so good to me, you have treated me so well, that if I received such an amount of money as you say, without thinking, I would leave it all to you, doctor, yes, without a doubt.
Suddenly, the old man puts his hands on his chest. The next day, Michael Gove arrives at Lord Naphthalinus' mansion. Surprised, he observes how a wake is being held. Fearing the worst, he goes over to talk to Peggy.
Lady Margaret, good morning. I don't want to disturb you in your pain. But how is it possible that Lord Naphthalinus has passed away?
Peggy sighs and proceeds to answer.
No, not at all. The service is not for my Naphthi. It's the doctor. Yesterday he died of a sudden heart attack. Who knows why?
Who are you? I'm your dear old Uncle Fry. I don't have an Uncle Fry. You do now. By God, I am your nephew. This is absolutely incredible. Can we have some money? Oh my, no.
Jagger, the subject goes like this. Matt, the monkey, goes from his native South America to Africa with the intention of visiting some distant relatives. Once there, and knowing that his wife will engage in certain activities, he heads to the savannah to make friends and pass the time. In the distance, he perceives the presence of several animals and there he goes.
Hello, nice to meet you. Hi, how are you? I am Elijah, the elephant.
And I am Gwyneth, the giraffe. And you are?
I'm Matt, the monkey.
So, Matt, does it mean that you are always at your front door?
This is not what Matt expected, but he considers it a rookie baptism, so he does not give it much importance.
Yes, Gwyneth, as I told you. Yesterday, the crocodile told me, if it weren't for the mustache, you'd be just like my mother-in-law. I replied, but I don't wear a mustache. And the crocodile said, yes, but she does.
Yesterday I met the turtle. She asked me if there was anything worse than biting into an apple and finding a worm inside. Of course, I told her. Finding half a worm.
Matt understands the dynamics they have there and is ready to participate, but, again, the animals speak.
By the way, how many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? Easy, it takes 10 tickles.
Well, you sure don't have this. How many bugs do you need to rent out an apartment? Of course, my dear. 10 ants. Well, folks, I'm going to talk to Thipo.
Wishing to seize that moment, Matt quickly considers what animal it might be and, very satisfied with his mental agility, asks.
Ah, Thipo! Who is Thipo? Is it the toad or is it the turkey?
No, nothing like that. Thipo! The pot-bellied one of my husband!
Heartbroken for not having been able to show off in front of his new friends, he goes to his uncle, the gorilla, for advice.
Uncle, how are you? I need your help. I want to integrate with the animals, but I can't remember any good jokes to get into the talk they handle.
Nephew, try with a riddle. That will catch their attention.
Unsure of what he means, Matt listens to his uncle.
I see you still need help. Listen to me. Who is your father's son who is not your brother?
Matt thinks about the question for a while, but can't find an answer.
No, man. I have no idea who he might be.
Easy, Neff. Well, it is yourself.
Impressed with such an original game, Matt plans his big entry for the next day.
With this riddle, I'm going to leave them in one piece. They'll see who is the king of comedy.
Indeed, the next day, Matt returns to the savannah. There are again the animals gathered.
You know, Gwyneth. Earlier today, I asked the crab to give me a hand with my duties.
But you are late. What happened?
What can I tell you? You know, he is a shellfish.
I was also at that task. Do you know, Elijah, what does the buffalo say when his son leaves?
Not really. There you did catch me off base. What does he say?
Well, obvious, boy. He says bison.
Taking advantage of the fact that the animals are still laughing, Matt sees the opportunity to make his grand entrance here.
Folks, here's this one. Do you know which is my father's son who is not my brother?
The animals are silent. Matt is very satisfied and just waits for his moment to give his great answer. However, what follows leaves him baffled. Elijah is the first to speak.
Of course, it's Dixie.
Sure. Of course, it's Dixie N.
Completely confused, Matt busily searches for what animal that unexpected Dixie N could be. But, no matter how hard he tries, he can't square an answer. The animals continue.
Yes, Matt. I'm pretty sure it's Dixie N.
You're absolutely right, Elijah. It can be none other than Dixie Normus.
Hallucinating at something so unexpected, Matt surrenders and asks his new friends.
Okay, I don't know how, but you've beaten me. Who is Dixie Normus?
To one voice, the animals reply.
Easy, moron. He is the one who goes to your house and shakes your wife while you are here in the savannah.
Work all night and a drink a rum.
Oh my god, can you manage all this?
I was the new girl.
A farmer stops by the local mechanic's shop to have his truck fixed. After inspecting over here and there under the hood, the mechanic informs him.
This is going to take a while. There is no point in waiting.
The countryman comments.
I don't actually live very far, so I'll just walk home. What's more, I'll take advantage of the fact that I'm here and do some shopping.
Indeed, on the way home, he stops at a hardware store and buys a bucket and a gallon of paint. Then he stops by the feed store and picks up a couple of chickens and a goose. However, once outside the store, he recognizes that he has a problem.
How do I take all these purchases home?
As he scratches his head, he is approached by a somewhat mature woman who says,
How are you, good man? Would you help a widow? I think I'm lost. Can you tell me how to get to Bordeley Road?
Well, beautiful lady, you're in luck. My farm is very close to that place. I would gladly take you there, but I can't figure out how to carry this lot.
Easy. Put the can of paint in the bucket. Carry the bucket in one hand, put a chicken under each arm, and carry the goose in your other hand.
The farmer is surprised with such a good advice.
Why, thank you very much.
Relieved of such a burden, he proceeds to bring the MILF home. After advancing a good stretch on the road, he says,
Let's cut the road by a shortcut that I know. Let's move down that alley that will save us a lot of time. We'll be there as fast as an elephant in a state of must.
The damsel looks at him cautiously and warns.
Know that I am a lonely widow without a husband to defend me. How do I know that? When we get to the alley, you won't hold me up against a wall, pull up my skirt, and take my little treasure.
The farmer can't believe his ears and rebukes her.
Holy smokes! Saints Bundy and Harper, lady, can't you see that I'm carrying a bucket, a gallon of paint, 2 chickens, and a goose? How in the world could I possibly hold you up against a wall and do that?
The cougar replies,
Easy. Leave the goose on the ground, cover it with the bucket, and put the paint on top of the bucket. And I'll hold the chickens.
As in, all night long?
Alan walks into a bar holding a magic lamp under one arm and a 1-foot-tall man under the other. He sits down, slams the lamp on the table, and places the little man next to the lamp. Without much excitement, he turns to the bartender.
Give me a double whiskey.
The dwarf looks uncomfortable, unable to sit still. Alan takes his time, sips his drink, and pats the table. The little man jumps to the floor, goes to the bar piano and, euphoric, begins to play all sorts of melodies. The bartender looks stunned by this surreal scene. His gaze shifts from the dwarf, to the lamp, and to Alan. Alan takes pity on the boy and comments.
Don't worry, kill that curiosity you have before it bursts like a frog in hot summer. Take the lamp, I can't stand this wretched genie anymore.
The bartender is suspicious, but finally agrees and proceeds to inspect the lamp. After a while, he realizes what is happening and, excitedly, rubs the lamp vigorously. Immediately, a genie emerges from the lamp.
Wait here.
He has a strange appearance, with a very peculiar head that scares the barman. Alan intervenes.
Don't look so much at his head. Come on, make your wish.
Unsure of how to proceed, the boy improvises an exotic ritual. He grasps the lamp with both hands, squeezes his eyes, and, with a hollow voice, expresses,
I wish I had $1,000,000.
Suddenly, the bar is filled with wave after wave of ducks walking through the door. Without giving credence to what he's seeing, the barman yells,
What's the deal? I asked for $1,000,000, not 1,000,000 ducks.
Alan looks at the poor man, with a mixture of scorn and malice. In a rush of paroxysm, he says,
Yeah, man! Do you think I wanted a 12-inch pianist?